time has come. Execute Order 66.
So apparently and sadly, Indy 5 has been dumped from quite a few movie theaters and been replaced with Mission Impossible, which is only actually doing slightly better. Okay, the box office this summer has been very, very soft, and I think a lot of it has to do with basically the studios being exposed for being woke cesspools, I think, and the fact that people want better entertainment, okay? But again, it's too bad because Harrison Ford deserved better than this. But let's talk about Lucasfilm. So Kathleen Kennedy is back in London. By her husband's Instagram, they were at Wimbledon yesterday to see the men's finals. A sport I used to watch and now I don't care about. I quit watching Wimbledon when Bjorn Borg hung up his racket. Okay, I couldn't get into it. But so they're still off across the pond. Meanwhile, we haven't had any announcements from Lucasfilm this weekend, and I was kind of, look, you guys, don't get your expectations up too high. We don't know how they're going to announce it. To me, it just sounds like it's going to be put in public with no private announcements inside Lucasfilm. When the Nazgul told the Lucasfilm employees that you'll know when it's officially announced, I'm paraphrasing that. That to me is just like, they're not going to be told. It's just happened. Now again, I don't have physical evidence. I don't have copies of legal documents. I don't have emails. But common sense and business common sense dictates, with Indy 5 looking like a dumpster fire, and her last movies being dumpster fires, and her incompetent leadership, they have to do something about her. That's just common sense. The fact that Steven Spielberg publicly decapitated her cannot be ignored or belittled. Okay, it just can't, because he is Hollywood. Okay, that man is one of the greatest directors of all time, up there with John Ford, Howard Hawks, and others. Okay, so he basically, in subtext at the Indy 5 premiere, basically said, neither you nor your husband will ever work with me again. Okay? And of course, they have a long history together. And when you look at it, it's too bad this happened. But it's one of those things where I think there was decades of resentment built up in her, and I think with Frank, and I think that they were only as competent as the people that were leading them were. Okay, so if you've got Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, you're going to look better. If you're by yourself and you can't deal with the day-to-day process of making a movie or leading a studio, then your ass is going to show that you are nothing more than an underling. Okay, and that's fine. Frank does a good job with his Broadway plays and his documentaries, but I really think that they have to reassess everything about what they want to do in life. Martin Scorsese says, has said that to make a movie, you have to get people as obsessed with your obsession as you are. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Kennedy tried to get people obsessed with her politics. It didn't work. And she was an ineffective leader, and she failed because, and it's not that a woman can't do the job. She is a woman who couldn't do the job because she can't do the job. There are other women who could do the job. Okay, this is not an anti-woman rant.
When my new apprentice, Darth Vader, arrives, he will take care of you.
The fleet has moved down to flight speed and we're preparing to...
You have failed me for the last time, Admiral. Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
So what I imagine is going on is that they're hammering out, or they have hammered out, an agreement. I mean, the way the wording was put at the second meeting on Friday, which was proven by the fact that Pablo Hidalgo posted that social gathering video, or that picture, the wording about Kennedy's future was pretty definite and final. All right, it is what it is. Okay, all right. They have to save the Disney company. That's what they're there for, and they have to save Lucasfilm, and that's what they're trying to do. When they told Disney employees that they have to be compliant with Disney budget issues or budget cuts, that was a big deal, okay? That was a big deal because Kennedy cannot stop spending money, okay? And that, I think, says something about her filmmaking prowess when she's given a budget, she spends all the money immediately. And then when what she has is so bad it has to be reshot, so she has to go to the well for more. If you remember in the show, The Offer, they needed $6.5 million to make The Godfather. And they're begging Charlie Bluedorn, the CEO of Gulf and Western, for the money, and he gave them $6. Okay? And that's what she's had to do. And that's actually after Bob Iger and his minions saw rough cuts and saw cuts of movies that were so bad they had to be reshot. So there's Kennedy again taking good money after bad and spending it on obviously things that were just as bad, so they had to go back again. This is the problem, okay? And that is enough to get her fired, okay? She wastes money. She's incompetent. She is not a creative. She is a fanatic about her politics, and that's all. But if you look at women of a certain age in Hollywood, Jane Fonda, Lily Thompson, Jane Fonda, and the rest of those women, they're fanatics about their politics. And Kennedy is in that age bracket. I think about the only woman of that age bracket who keeps her mouth shut about politics and said, I don't want to hear about it, is Goldie Hawn, okay? But she's also with Kurt Russell, who's a cool dude. But that's the problem, all right? Your fanaticism should be telling a story, not you will embrace transgenderism. You will embrace seeing European fairy tales and legends taken over by people of color because because being racist against whites and usurping their culture is right. All right, which is a double standard, but this is the kind of wokeism that woke people like Kennedy put out there. Okay. And of course, she's got her avatars, tall, skinny, bony, British, upper class, snotty British women, smug, who basically have no reason to exist beyond in any of the stories they've created, beyond being the avatar for Kathy Kennedy. Okay. And I hate to break it to either the black pills, the blobs, or the shills who love Kathy. In this fight, Bob Iger wins. Bob Iger is still popular in Hollywood. Bob Iger is popular on Wall Street. And this is where she loses, is she went up against the wrong person. Okay? Look, Kathy Kennedy is not an opportunist. She's a fanatic. Bob Iger is not a fanatic about anybody but Bob Iger. Bob Iger's an opportunist. Okay? And he made vast mistakes in buying the 20th Century Fox Studios and Fox Searchlight. Big mistakes. He should not have done that. I think he knows that now. Hiring the DEI people like Latondra Newton, etc., was a dumb idea too, but he was virtue signaling to get Hollywood's attention, so they would give him his money if he ran for president. Now, he's hell-bent on saving his legacy, and he is going to do that at the expense of Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy, I think, and her husband were shown how small they are in Hollywood the moment Spielberg ignored them. Okay? And Ford I'm serious, he looked over at them and laughed. And part of him, I think, probably couldn't believe Stephen did that. But look, you fuck with George, you fuck with Harrison twice, then you fucked with Stephen. Okay? That's it. That is a hat trick. Okay, and the completing that hat trick doomed Kathy, any goodwill Kennedy had with any of those guys. Okay? And that was the moment I knew she was over. That was it. And I know the nuance is lost on a lot of people, and we're still getting, she's not leaving till 2024. They can't find anybody to replace her. Blah, blah, blah. We can't find anybody to replace her is an old rumor from 2018. Okay, old story from 2018. The 2024 thing is something someone told a black pill blob, and they just ran with it because they didn't think about it. Again, what you see in public, okay, Iger saying we are slowing down all production on Marvel and Star Wars, Indiana Jones 5 literally being removed from more than half the theaters it was being shown in. Steven Spielberg just publicly ignoring Kennedy and Marshall by not acknowledging that they were even there. Those are the things you have to look at. So when Star Wars Direct, Screen Rant, CosmicBook.com, Bounding into Comics or something, put something out there that is opposite of what the nuanced statements of Iger, the rather not so nuanced statement or lack of statement from Spielberg and the catastrophic box office for Indy 5, they're ignoring that. Okay, you have to remember, what a man does is more important than what he says. And look, as a woman, I know we say a lot of things. We go blah, 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 blah. And there are a lot of guys out there that do the same thing. Pablo Hidalgo, the Black Pill Blobs, blah, blah, blah. But they have to shape a narrative. Because what are they going to do when she's gone? Look, the moment it's announced Kennedy is no longer the head of Lucasfilm, every flying monkey loses their protection, okay? And the connections that Ward has, that Star Wars Explained has, that the Black Pill Blobs have, is cut, okay? That's what we have to work on, okay? Look at the public nuance. Weigh it up against what they're saying before running with it, okay? And don't let people continuously bash everything around them and affect your way of thinking, okay? Critical thinking is a lost talent. We all have to relearn it, okay? We all have to relearn it. Now, I'm not saying we're going to hear something definite today, but I wouldn't not be surprised if we did. Okay, but just go on with your day, go to work, go take your dog for a walk, go work out, go shopping, go do something positive, and keep your phone. And if check your email once an hour, check Twitter, and that's all you can do. Okay, really, we're in a waiting game now. All right, because the wheels are in motion. And Disney is keeping a tight lid on any conversation about Kathleen Kennedy for a reason. All right. This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.